Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers again. Welcome to part 4 of my DYT engine rebuild, if you will. So this morning I came out and I basically realized I had a lot more work than I thought I did, you know. Waiting for the head gasket to come so I can put the gasket, I can put the head back on, and waiting for a starter from Pulley when I see him, you know. In the meantime, I hooked up a fuel shutoff onto the fuel line to a fuel filter. I didn't have any fuel lines, you know, so I got the fuel lines all worked out going into the Briggs opposed twin 4-screw Nicky carburetor, along with the hose that goes from the fuel pump into the crankcase suction, you know, that valve area. Also, in the meantime, I thought, what the hell is going on? I forgot that the original Kohler 25V twin had the solenoid that was already on top of the starter. So since this doesn't have that system, I have to now add a solenoid. So basically, I had bought this entire spool of, I think, 25 feet of fuel line. It was only $18, and I know I'm going to use them in the future, so I just bought it, you know, 18 bucks. So I have this fuel shutoff that I got from China. I think 5 of these and 5 fuel filters were like 10 bucks or something like that. I had to wait a month for it, but whatever, you know, you'll need it. It's cheap, you know. So I got that on there, attached to a fuel filter. Goes through this wall here, does a little bit of a curve right into the fuel pump, and again on the bottom here is the crankcase pulsing suction right into the engine. As you can see, I got this all straightened out. Yesterday I did the muffler, right, and I was looking through this area going, where the hell is the solenoid, right? And I just couldn't figure it out, you know, because I wanted to, you know, get a jump on the electronics, you know, the electric wiring on how I'm going to do this. And I noticed that well, not he, but Craftsman had this positive lead wire going directly to this thing, which usually goes to a solenoid, right? But I remember when I took this off, it was off of the starter. So I'm like, well, where's the damn solenoid? And I realized, of course, it had the starter with the solenoid piggybacked on it. You know, that was the style that they had. This one doesn't have that. Actually, the starter is on the other side. So this would have to, I would use this wire for that side. I would have to get another wire that goes from the battery positive lead directly to a solenoid somewhere. Since all the wiring harness is on the right side of the tractor, I'd have to mount the solenoid somewhere around there, but there's really no space. Not to mention the fact that there's no holes for me to put the solenoid anywhere. But so I keep solenoids in stock, believe it or not. Every time I buy one for like $7 or something like that, I get like 3 or 4, you know, just because I know I need them. So this is a universal 4-post solenoid, right? And so you got the one side of it coming from the positive battery lead. This one here goes to the starter. This one here is negative ground. And this one here is the trigger wire. The trigger wire that goes from the harness from the ignition switch over there, right? So I'd have to find which wire in here into this harness. I'm using the original Kohler harness and the ends, and I have to find out of all of these which one of these is the trigger wire. In my experience, usually it's the white one, but it has 2 of them that are spade type things, you know. So it could be the blue one, or it could be the white one. Could be any one of these damn things, actually, you know. But, you know, one's got to be the magneto, you know, for the kill to the magneto. Another one I know this one didn't have a fuel solenoid, so it can't be that. One of them is the lights. This one here is coming from the stator, so I know that the red one is the DC output straight to the battery, and one of them goes to the lights. But you know, you just gotta figure out through a schematic plan, or you can just trace the back of the ignition switch for, you know, SMBGLA2A1, those letters, and trace them in the color to where it goes, so you'll know how to attach it. So basically I have to attach a negative ground to the solenoid, a trigger wire coming from the ignition switch, these are battery leads, right, and another thick red gauge wire to the starter itself, you know. So that's what I got to try to figure out. But in the meantime, I need to try to find a place to install this solenoid. So I've got my trusty multimeter out, and basically I've connected one end to negative ground, and I traced the wire from the ignition switch, which I know the ignition switch pretty well because it's the same as a Husqvarna, you know. So the white wire usually is the solenoid trigger wire. So I traced it all the way to the white wire to the harness over there, and it changes color when you attach this part of it to blue. So I've got the prod stuck into the blue wire, right? And I'm gonna turn the ignition switch right now and see if we get a charge. There you go. So you know that I know now that this blue wire here is the solenoid. I'm pretty sure this purple wire is the DC voltage coming out from the voltage regulator. So this is to the stator, and the blue is to the solenoid. All the other stuff I just gotta figure out, you know. There's this little black wire sticking out of there that goes to a spade. I don't know why it's there, because this doesn't have a solenoid originally, so I don't know why that's there, but I did connect the negative prod to that with the positive prod to the solenoid trigger, and I wanted to see if that worked. And sure enough, when I turn the key to start, it does trigger the wire. So we've got 12 volts going out of there when I turn the switch. So that will make for a good ground spade right to that, to the left one, and then the blue one right to that one. Got the battery lead over here straight to there, and this one over here directly to the starter. So it looks like I can hook up a solenoid, 4-post solenoid, and get this thing at least to be able to crank the starter, you know. So just have to find a place to mount this thing. But the thing is, you really don't have to mount it. You could literally just have it tied up somewhere, you know, but that's kind of, you know, half-assed and jigged, you know. So because it's a 4-post solenoid, it's grounded through this. It doesn't have to have a good ground from this frame to the chassis, you know. So I figured it out. The purple one is the DC from to the stator. The green one is nothing. This black one here that's really red is a switched 12 volts, so it's lights. Like I said, the blue one here is to the starter, and the white one here that I was messing with is actually the magneto. It's the kill switch. So I'm going to attach this to the magneto like that, and that'll kill the engine, hopefully. So I'm going to try to find a place to mount the solenoid. So I've got it all connected up. Black wire to this spade. I had to add the spades. It comes with these little things where you can screw on there, so instead of just a nut for a loop, you can put a spade in there, so it just goes right on here. So like I said, the blue is the trigger wire from the ignition switch right to here. This is the ground. I've got the battery lead that goes all the way right from the battery. That red wire comes all the way down, goes right here, right? When the ignition switch is energized, you turn it, 12 volts go into here, pushes up this thing that connects the two nuts, this one and that one. That way it sends 12 volts directly to this black wire. Ideally I would have liked to do a red wire, but I don't have a red one, so I have a black one. It goes all the way over there, and that'll connect to the starter. So I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to turn the ignition key and we should hear a click. There we go. So we know that works, and it's just waiting for a starter. And I'm going to mount this right there. There's a hole right there. I'm going to put a bolt in there. I've carved the bottom over here for some support. And I'll just tighten that up, and it'll just sit there like that. That'll be good. Nice and convenient too. Well, alright, so I know it looks like a lot of spaghetti, but trust me, when I get this all figured out, I'll tuck everything away. So I've secured this solenoid to the wall of the tractor. It's on there nicely. In addition, I've also found this attachment that attaches to the part that goes right to the stator, right? We know that this part over here with the diode underneath that sheathing here is the DC output. So I just traced that over to this one over here. Connected it to the purple wire, which I found to be the stator wire. It goes to the ignition switch. The white wire is going to the magneto for the kill, right? This black wire is a switched 12 volt, but I don't think I'm going to use it because this wire here goes directly to the lights, and I've tested the voltage, and when you switch it on, it works. So I'm not going to need this green one because it doesn't attach to anything. I'm not going to need this black one. I mean, it could be for accessories. You know, I could put like a light on there or something like that. But this could go onto like a fuel solenoid, but I don't need that. I knew this one was this white one here was the magneto because this was the kohler magneto wire. It has two tabs because it goes on two different magnetos. So I got the wiring all worked out, and it really wasn't all that difficult today. This black wire, heavy gauge, comes from the other end of the solenoid. This is where the starter would go. So I have this over here, the rubber glove over it, so it doesn't touch anything and cause problems, you know. So that I would just attach this right to the starter. Should be good to go. So I've done a lot today. Fuel lines, pulse suction from the crankcase, figured out the wiring harness, and installed a brand new solenoid. So I think next thing I want to do is I want to flip it on its side and put the pulley on. That's right, I'm going to put the pulley on and see if the PTO fits on the shaft. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push this to its side. I'm going to try to, at least. I'll put a chair over there so it kind of rests. That'll work. Cool. I'm going to show this to you guys. So here's the underbelly of the tractor. Very clean, huh? There's the drive belt. This around here. There's the shaft. This thing here attaches to the electric PTO through the attachments to the mower deck. Very nice down here, very clean. One of the cleanest I've ever seen. There's a transmission. Very nice. See how clean that is? Really nice tractor. The size of these rims. 20 by 10 by 8. So I'm going to find the pulley, and let's hope it fits on there. I was like smelling drips, hearing drips and smelling fuel. So I figured, you know what? I'll just catch some of it, you know? No big deal. So the good news is that the pulley fits. It is the right shaft diameter, probably an inch, right? Bad news is it's too short. You see, that is all the way up, right? And, well, electronic PTO is not going to fit on there. It's only like half an inch sticking out, you know? That's a problem. Here's the electric PTO. It's a huge piece of apparatus here. Huge. And it's probably 4 inches deep, you know? I need 4 more inches of well, maybe not 4 inches, but you know what? Okay, I feel it now. I think this goes on the bottom, right? So it can't just hang on half an inch, you know what I mean? Can you believe it? It's on there. Pretty cool. Secure. It's on there. Well, we'll see. So I just, you know, torqued down the engine mounting bolts because honestly, this thing is going better than I thought, you know. I'm not running into major complications or anything like that, even though we thought we did, but looks like it's coming together pretty well. So I'm going to put the air cleaner base back on. Gotta clean my shit. I'm going to use some of my gunk wipes. Damn. Let's put the air cleaner base back on. Man, oh man. Looks like we just need the head gasket, put the head on. Starter. When I get the air filter cover, as well as the engine shroud. I think this is almost ready to go. Really impressed, man, with the progress so far. Hasn't really taken all that long, and everything just simply has fallen into place. It's just a matter of waiting for my parts to come, you know? But anyway, that's another big part of it today, you know? Let's see, what do? Install the solenoid, right? Put the pulley on. Put the PTO back on. Figured out the wiring. Connected all the wiring. And all we need is the starter, ignition, magneto kill, stator recharge wire. Man, oh man. And the lights. But, yeah. Pretty close to starting this baby up. Maybe get this Craftsman Dyt4000 moving again. Thanks for joining me, guys, on this part of the project. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Hey guys, support my channel. Buy a sticker. Got the bumper sticker too. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Follow my Instagram at Mowers and Blowers. Check out my website at mowersblowers.com.